Welcome back, all my beautiful loyal patriots of Ireland. Today we have another stabbing. Wow, another stabbing in Ireland. That would make it, what is that, 8 stabbings in 7 weeks. I'm pretty sure there's a few deaths in there as well. Thank you DEI, thank you diversity, thank you open borders, no checks, no background checks. Thank you for that. All the beautiful government of Ireland, thank you to that. Thank you to all the propaganda specialists, Pat Kenny, Kieran Cuckoldry, whoever guys is talking about. Thank you for that. Now the country has devolved into pure hell and is turning into goddamn Arkham Asylum. What is it called, guys? Flipping Batman, The Dark Knight. Ireland is turning into Gotham City. Insane. Today we have another reaction, of course, to News Talk. This has a woman has died following a serious incident at Rosslare Europort. Okay, now I've never heard of a serious incident that nobody hasn't died. Okay, that's the definition of a serious incident. Today, we're about to find out what exactly happened because again, another shit show in Ireland. You know, this has just gotten insane. It's getting worse. It's getting worse every year, guys. 8 stabbings in 7 weeks. Loads of people have died. And nothing has seemed to be done about it. So, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Voice your concerns in the comments down below. And let's get it.
A man remains in custody this morning after a woman's body was discovered on a ship which arrived into Rosslare Europort from Fishguard yesterday. The alarm was raised as the ship was about to dock at 5:30. And for more on this, we're joined from Rosslare by News Talk reporter Andrew Louth. You arrived at the Europort this morning. What's going on?
Well, Pat, I can tell you that the Stena Nordica, which is the ship in question in relation to this serious incident as described by Gardaí, it is still docked where it was last night. Gardaí are still there, although I've noticed some Garda vehicles leaving the scene, but I understand it is still being preserved. There is still a technical examination being undertaken. Gardaí are still monitoring the scene there as well, and essentially, but apart from that, Pat, the Europort itself is running as normal, apart from a couple of cancellations on the Stena Line side, which is
just a couple of cancellations
related to the Fishguard route. So there was a 8:15 sailing due to sail this morning, but that was cancelled as the investigations continue. But just an hour ago, I was just watching as cars started to pile onto an Irish ferry ship, so it is the port is open as normal.
But Nordica is stuck there until the Gardaí have finished their inspection of the ship. And I mean, tell us about the emergency call, the response, and how the whole drama unfolded, because it does seem there was a lot of action on board the ship.
That's right, Pat. So from what we understand, basically what happened was the body of a woman was discovered in a toilet on the ship as it was sailing from Fishguard in Wales. And after that, after the body was discovered, a brawl is said to have taken place.
So a brawl took place like that, 20 people. A brawl is like, 10 plus people fighting, throwing chairs, going crazy. So this was like a retaliation kill, or like something happened. What the hell?
Violent brawl by the sounds of it. And it was this which caused the captain of the ship to raise the alarm with the emergency services here. So that alarm was raised at about 5 o'clock, with the ship due to dock at Rosslare at 5:30. And then what happened once it docked there, then all the emergency services piled onto the ship. And one of those who was responding to that emergency call is independent councillor Ger Carthy. And he's also the ambulance operations manager for Wexford with the National Ambulance Service. And he explains from his point of view how it went down.
Look, we do a large number of calls to the port of Rosslare, but none or anything like what transpired yesterday evening. The captain of the Stena Nordica patched an emergency call to our control centre, which activated a substantial emergency response, multi-agency from the National Ambulance and indeed in Garda Síochána. He alerted us to a medical emergency on board. That was managed by ourselves, and on the conclusion of that, there was a lady pronounced dead at the scene. Now that's subject to a substantial Garda investigation at the moment, and I suppose we know the outcome of that in the fullness of time.
And did you have an opportunity to see any of the other passengers, just kind of what their reaction was and how they were feeling at the time as well?
Well, indeed, I suppose one of shock and sadness. There was over 200 passengers on board the Stena Nordica yesterday, and a large amount of freight. So you could imagine the scene there for 3 or 4 hours while they were held on board the ship, subject to the guard investigation, and then questioned as they left the boat en route to wherever they were heading for.
And for yourself, were you at the scene for long last night? Did you have to stay there for a while?
Yeah, I was deployed. I think it's just about 5:15 yesterday, and I left it just before 10 o'clock last night, and the guards have been there overnight. And look at, you know how these investigations go on, the time frame around same, so hopefully they'll bring that to a successful conclusion, but it is indeed a very sad situation.
Well, we should not jump.
I mean, yeah, it's insane. Okay, here we go. Not to jump to conclusions. So we're not going to hear a description. It could have been white people. I mean, it could have been anything. But we don't know any description because the news doesn't tell us. The news is against the people. The news hates the people. The mainstream news hates the average Irish person. We'll never hear a description. We won't know what happened. You know, like I said, we're presuming this is a stabbing or a strangulation. I mean, how else do you kill somebody in Ireland? It seems like the go-to way of murdering somebody in this country. The ERU, the detectives, the ERU, are going to be called on so much that there's not going to be funding towards regular Gardaí anymore. It's just going to be all funding towards guys with guns, tasers, pepper spray, because those are the people that respond to knife crime, you know, God forbid, a gun crime, some stuff like that. So this is just getting worse and worse, it seems.
Well, we should not jump to any conclusions. I mean, people do die on ferries from time to time, and it would appear this woman died on the high seas. Andrew, what stage is the Garda investigation at? Do we know anything about the suspect in custody?
Well, Pat, currently Gardaí are still calling this an unexplained death, but...
No, they arrested somebody. And here's the thing, guys. He said not to jump to conclusions. Like, people don't just die for no reason. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, yeah, she could have got a heart attack, but obviously she didn't get a heart attack if there's a big brawl that's taken place. You know, like, there's evidence, there's repercussions. Like, we know that something nefarious happened to this lady. Like, obviously. Like, why would... That's just... Pat Kenny is probably the worst, actually. Kieran Cookoldry is pretty bad. But they're all the worst presenters of all time. Like, how could you even present the news? Like, who is hiring these people?
And they are investigating all of the circumstances. But from what I understand, the people that were in the brawl after discovering the woman, they were all known to each other. And... the man has been arrested. The man that has been arrested in the investigation. Really, we don't know anything about him yet. I've been trying to do a lot of digging around, and there isn't much to be had on him at this moment in time. But from what locals have told me, they don't think that it is a local situation. But of course, that's something that will be established in due course. He was.
It's not a local situation, so he's a foreign guy. Come on. Like, the news doesn't tell us anything. When you actually watch the news as much as I do now, because I haven't watched mainstream in so long, because I just think it's all just a scam, you actually start to decipher and break down what they're trying to get at here. Like, what is he trying to say here? They've literally said nothing. It's been 6 minutes and they've said nothing.
Arrested under Section 4 of the Criminal Justice Act. That means he can be held for up to 24 hours. As for where the Garda investigation goes from here, well, a post-mortem is expected to be carried out on the body of the woman at some stage today, and as is usual with Garda investigations, the results of that will determine the course of their investigation. But certainly there's, and even with searches still being carried out on the Stena Nordica as we approach 10:15 this morning, Pat, and it certainly seems that it is quite an extensive investigation.
All right. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us. That's
yeah, absolute nonsense again, lads. Like, we don't hear anything from the news ever. You know, you have to go on something like Twitter or X. I keep calling it Twitter. You have to go on X to actually find out the real news, guys, because they don't say anything. Like, completely nothing. Insane, bro. Like, so obviously Rosslare, yeah, is a pretty big port for people. So this only happened yesterday. And the armed Gardaí were waiting right there with guns drawn, I'm sure, okay, waiting for the vessel to be docked because people were still going crazy, you know, probably fighting, a brawl taking place. I mean, what the hell kind of nonsense is that? So, insane, okay? It's also became a major point for illegal trafficking and people of drugs, you know, people importing drugs and stuff as well. Apparently, Rosslare is a, drug-induced capital place where they, you know, harbor in through drugs and people and stuff. So it's absolutely insane. Like I said, Ireland still a free-for-all. I'm not sure when this will end because 8 stabbings in 7 weeks is a record. I mean, it has to be a record. I don't remember this ever happening in Ireland ever. Like, does anybody remember this ever in history? Like, I don't remember this ever. So let me know your thoughts. I can't do it without you all. If you want to support me, hit that join link, become a member of the channel, support me on my tirades, my flipping rants on the internet, and I'm going to keep reporting the news, and I'm going to keep putting out the message that the mainstream won't put out. I love you all. Stay free, and I'll see you all in the next one, lads. Peace.